up, everyone? It's me, Steph, the alternative. Welcome to Pop Culture Justice Alive, February the 6th, 2024. And we are joined with an extra special guest, not only Andy, our erstwhile leader, who's out and about at the moment, but Nate, the lawyer's here. Hey up, guys!
The
How's
lawyer
it going?
It's so fun because we do all these streams Zoom. I'm still used to living remotely with a Zoom, but to actually like have this dude right here and like and talk, and I get to like, it's what a cool dude. So honored to have you.
Oh no, I'm thankful. It's funny because when I first saw Andy, it's like you don't like sometimes you'll meet somebody in real life and don't know how short they are, how tall they are. So it's like, but Andy is exactly like my height. So I'm like, oh, all right.
Stature. I was like, nice, legit. Yeah, no, it was good. No, he's just as awesome in person, guys. Such an honor to have him here, and we're here with a big story. While if you missed the full show, we've been talking, we've been hanging out, getting his thoughts on a lot of the lawsuits out there with Megzy and other stuff. But I wanted to talk about this huge data breach that Nate's been on top of and broke this news. This is massive, and this is a big deal, guys. And for those of you who don't know who Bouzy is, I'm going to repeat myself. Sorry, live viewers, but just let me make sure we're clear on the replay. Bouzy was a integral part for both Amber Heard and Meghan Markle in sort of their PR campaigns for sort of justifying the hate campaigns and all the bullying that they're facing. And he's a charlatan, in my opinion. He has created this fake app and environment and data that sort of helps to try to justify these eternal victims, Amber, Meghan, and the like. And he's always arrogant, always assumes he knows everything, and he's not. Nate's in a lawsuit with him. He's defamed Nate. I really don't like this guy. We've known this. I hate even talking about him, to be honest. I hate to keep giving him energy because it's like I feel like that's what he wants. But now we got to talk about it because this bozo created a alternative to Twitter, guys, called Spoutible, because this was going to be a more honest place. Never trust the guy who's like, come to my place. It's more honest. Trust me. No, his was, of course, not more honest. It was just his version of it. And what happened was a massive data breach. Everybody's used, all the users, all their private information that you don't want out there was suddenly available to the whole public for God knows how long, what access. This was scary, scary stuff because Christopher Bouzy is a bozo who had no idea what he was doing. So I want to unleash this back to Nate because you sort of uncovered this. Explain again to the crowd. I'm going to give you the mic. Why was this such a big deal? What happened? Explain.
Well, so everyone understands before Bouzy became the top expert on Twitter and online misinformation, he was essentially doing nothing. Like he was what was he? He was doing what's it called? He was not Byte Send, but what's it called? Not even Bot Sentinel, before Bot Sentinel with the crypto. He was doing a crypto scam where he was scamming people in crypto for Blackcoin. Blackcoin. He was scamming people for crypto. Yeah. And one day he just woke up and said, "Hey, I'm going to be an expert for data on Twitter." So he woke up and he started doing that. So we in our investigation, we saw like Bouzy was doing all these different things. Like he had bots running and sending out information to promote his stuff and all that stuff. So we saw it. But when we did our little research, we were like, this guy has absolutely no training, no education in any of the stuff that he's talking about. But so what we found is that the news media was running with his reports like they were gospel. They were saying like, these are the reports, read it. So you know what we did? We just read the reports, and the reports were literally like third grader, like it didn't say anything. They were really that bad. So that really spun us into what was going on. Like this guy really doesn't. He talks a good game, but he was essentially just an empty suit. He didn't know any of the stuff that he was actually talking about in the back end. And all the professionals that we knew that we found actually verified that. Said none of this stuff is real. So eventually Bouzy then did his thing where he said, okay, he wants to start his own social media company because Twitter was too violent and the R word and there's too much transphobic and that type of thing. So he said he wants to start his own social media platform to protect people from this, called Spoutible. Now, Spoutible was his big brainchild. So he started it, and as soon as he started it, guess what? We had a data leak where he released everybody's data back then, right? The first thing. He released everybody's data. So we all told him. So people told him like, hey, listen, you got everybody's data just willy-nilly. Then we found out that the program that he used, Spoutible, was an $89 program bought from this Russian site. We literally, and the way we know that is that we contacted those people and they said, yes, that site, Spoutible, is our $89 Russian program. Like, okay. So he put this program out. put out everybody's information. So eventually, he then hired some people and tried to tune it back up. So recently, I got a tip because people call me with tips all the time. So I got a tip that hey, this all this information is still leaked. And I was like, no, it's funny because when the person contacted me, I'm like, no, you're talking about the one that happened before, right? This is not this new stuff. And they were like, no, this is all this new stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean all this new stuff? So they went through and showed me that hey, everybody's, I don't know if you guys can read the list, but everybody's like name, IP address, two-factor authentication, passcode, like everything was available. Phone numbers and all that stuff was all available to the public. So at that point, it was kind of like, we need to do something to try to protect, the users now, because, you got 200,000 people on that site and they shouldn't have to suffer because of his incompetence. So, first it was like, do we put it out? But then it's kind of like, well, the only thing he's going to say is that we're trolls and don't believe, but we needed somebody to actually do something to get it out, to get some results. So I think Troy was contacted, the person, he's one of the top data breach experts. And when he was contacted, it was kind of like, oh my God, this is like crazy. And how dumb is this? This is like ridiculous. This is like, how dumb can you be? Bouzy essentially just made everybody's information public when you go to the website. So when you look through the report that the cyber expert put, he just goes through it, just like, hey, this thing is just, it was totally made available to everybody. And this was for a while. This wasn't just for like 1 day or 2 days. This is for a while. This thing was just out there for all this time. So now Bouzy obviously had to now change it up. And the sad part about it, I think, is for his investors. Bouzy's raised like something like $500,000 worth of investor money, but there's no way that I would go and trust my information on Spoutible now, since this is the second time he's put all the information out like that, especially the two-factor authentication and stuff. The tokens, like literally, it was so bad. If you read the report by the cyber expert, he said that someone could go in based on the vulnerability, go in, change all your password, change everything, and you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even be notified. They could change your email, change your password, change everything, and you wouldn't even know. They could totally take over your account. That's how bad it was. But now Bouzy says they've patched it up. But this was such an extensive hack. It's just insane. So right now, I think the issue going forward with Bouzy is just that I think he's got to buy something better. He's got to buy something better, because this again was their stupidity. They literally made this stuff publicly available. Think about that, people. Think about like the bank. Just imagine the bank releases all your information and makes it publicly available. Whose fault is that? Is it the bank's fault or is it your fault? Right? It's like, obviously he doesn't know what he's doing. So Spoutible, and now also we started seeing some things about Spoutible, because he was talking about Spoutable's getting millions of people going through and all this stuff. Now we know they only have 207,000 users, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but that's not challenging Twitter. That's not, that's laughable. It's like 200. What is this?
Even slow. Threads couldn't get it very well. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, like 200,000 people, and on top of that, now that Blue Sky has just launched, I think Spoutable's days are numbered. But again, I don't think it could have happened to a nicer guy like Bouzy. But when you go look at the report, it's really bad. And obviously people who are on Spoutible and don't forget, you had all these celebrities on Spoutible too.
Yeah, I was just gonna get there.
Go ahead.
Well, do you, because I know there were celebrities and people, but like, Meghan and Harry weren't like on there, obviously, but do you think there was like a Meghan ghost account on Spoutible, or maybe some Ahmed Scobie? Some of these people and her people could have been potentially exposed. No.
Well, when the initial API, when he initially made everything public, we did see that there was this Harry and Meghan kind of account that was made, and we thought it was just maybe it was a holder account, like he was holding it for them or something like that, because again, he made everything public. But I'm assuming that they had their hands in, because again, Bouzy is integral to their whole story. Remember, their whole hate story for Netflix depends on Bouzy.
Yeah.
And it all relies on Bouzy's work. And they're relying on somebody who doesn't have any of the qualifications to even to make these statements. But he couldn't be qualified as an expert in court. But the public and news media has made him into this expert. And I'm gonna tell you why. it's DEI. It's because he happens to be black, he happens to be well-spoken, and it doesn't matter. Like, as soon as you ask about qualifications, he doesn't have any. Only thing he has is the ability to talk the gobbledygook and make it sound good, but it's not good.
Well, it's just interesting because, not to scare Meghan, and I'm not saying I did this, Meghan, but man, if you had your ghost accounts on there and all your ghost accounts, emails, numbers were on there, wouldn't take too long for someone to take that data and figure it out on another platform and expose all your weird little hate ghost accounts. So there is some stuff here that could potentially affect them if they were so stupid or so connected. And that's where I think Meghan should get a little nervous, on top of the fact that she put all her, stock in this guy, put him in the Netflix documentary. Samantha Markle's whole lawsuit, a lot of it stems upon Bouzy and what he said, his expertise, his data, which we've now seeing more and more and more and more, thanks to people like Nate, that he's just full of crap, total charlatan, total con man, just faking fake numbers. And yeah, this is just yet another example and a warning shot to all you guys. If you thought, yeah, I'm gonna go try this Bouzy thing, sorry, we tried to warn you. Pay attention, hit that subscribe to Nate the Lawyer, Popcorn Planet, etc., because we try to give you the heads up. But it's a massive failure on Bouzy's fault, and I'm with you. I'm here to see it. I can't wait. Do you think this affects Meghan in any other way? I mean, aside from those, I know the audience is just dying to find more connections.
Well, I think to be fair, I think the connection with, because I think Meghan and Harry, they owe a lot to Bouzy, because don't forget, Bouzy was the one making the argument. They could say there was hate for Meghan online, but Bouzy was the person that was stringing all that together. Bouzy was the one that says, here's the data that proves it. Here's the step. That's why he was on the Netflix documentary, right? He was proving it. He was proving that the sister is bad. He was proving all this. But now if you prove that Bouzy is nothing but a hot suit, right? All that whole thing that they've been saying goes up in smoke too, which we know. But I think the public at large doesn't know. And I'll also say this too. The reason why Bouzy hasn't been exposed on a massive scale is because the news media, Bouzy actually implicates the news media.
Yeah.
The news media has held him up to be this expert. Like, if you look through our lawsuit, there's all these academic institutions, all these professors, all these things. People are saying that he's this expert. But then if you just look at the report, you can see it's obviously not true. And I think that now is keeping the news media from exposing it, because that exposes themselves. The fact that they're using this guy who has no training, no education, no nothing on the topic, and are telling you he's an expert. That indicts them just as much as it indicts Meghan, and just as much as it indicts him.
Yeah, I remember during the trial, we had the Cat 10 barges. We had all these people that were just sort of using Bouzy as their justification to get out their false narrative. Which was, it's terrifying what the media will do when they can basically fake experts. I mean, it happens in courts a lot. I guess you deal with this a lot. You can always find an expert for either side. Yeah. Someone will always take money to be an expert on the one side. But yeah, Bouzy was that. He was just sort of glorified expert for the media to justify a lot of this bullying and nonsense for Amber Heard and for Meghan Markle. So super scary, super frustrating. But again, we've seen through it from the beginning. We've been exposed.
We saw it, yeah,
for years now, over years, this Bouzy guy, and he still's out there just blocking people, trying to play like he knows better. Do you think his end is finally in sight? Like, he has a lot of lives, it seems. When do you think he'll finally get his comeuppance?
Well, I think right now, to be fair, he's well financed. Because right now, what Bouzy plays, like even now with this data breach, right? They did the data breach, right? They put everybody's information out. This wasn't a hack. This was them just essentially being incompetent. But you know, the first thing they say, racism. It's racism that we put it out. It's racism. It's like, it's not racist. How is it racism that you made everybody's information public? That's not racism. The only racism is in his mind. But again, we still live in that world where you say that word, you happen to be black, and people just automatically believe you. Like, look what's going on with Georgia. When they said the Georgia DA was sexing the other prosecutor, she came out and said racism. Everybody jumped to, it's racism. Now she admits, well, guess what? I was banging a guy. Well, you know, so it's not racism. It is what it is. So I think sometimes you gotta, no matter what color your skin is, if you're incompetent, you're incompetent. And Bouzy, unfortunately, is incompetent.
But there it is.
And yeah, I would absolutely say that he is incompetent. Again, with my background in compliance and data protection, this is his response in relation to the more
Oh, I wanted to see that. So what was it?
scary data breach from Spoutible, right? And I'm not going to bore you with exactly what he says word for word. He just says, look, we were alerted by a Troy Hunt, respected figure in the cybersecurity industry, about a vulnerability within our system. It's not a vulnerability. It was a wide open front freaking door. You don't even have to go through back door. It's sickening how this has actually happened. So he says what was exposed: information script included email addresses and some cell phone numbers. What was not exposed: decrypted passwords and direct messages. But the thing is, in terms of what was exposed, he's sugarcoating because there was a shiz ton that was actually exposed, including, email addresses, phone numbers, IP addresses and country, passwords, password reset tokens. But he doesn't say any of that in his official response to the Spoutible users. In my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, he's misleading them here. And it's disgusting. He says
he's trying to downplay it.
He's downplaying it. He's totally downplaying it. He then says what you can do, the Spoutible user that's been affected, because of his freaking incompetence as far as I'm concerned. It's not what the user should be doing in this respect. It's what Christopher Bouzy and Spoutible should be doing to rectify this situation and ensure that the users that have been affected by this absolutely horrific data breach are not negatively impacted as much as they are at the moment, to stop that and fix it as soon as possible. The emphasis is on what he should be doing, not what they should be doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my two-factor authentication out there, my tokens or email address, phone number. I wouldn't want my stuff out there like that. But the fact of the matter is, what do? And I feel bad because sometimes I don't want to blame the victims, because the victims are the users. The users are the victims of this incompetence. You want to blame the person who put them in this position. And this person has been saying that they've had security, they got top security experts, they've done this audit, but all of that seems to be nonsense when by a click of a button, you've put their information out for weeks and didn't even know. And then when we eventually get you the knowledge and say, and then you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know that all of my users' all the information has been out for weeks for a couple of weeks. It's like, how do you know? How do you know? So that's what I think. I think the problem is that Bouzy doesn't really have any way, because right now, if you tell him that, or if there's like another breach and you tell him, hey, listen, you got this issue here, the first thing you're going to say is you're racist. Like right now, even the guy, the security expert who did the whole thing, he's throwing shade at him. And the guy's only thing he's doing is saying, you are so incompetent. You are so incompetent that you essentially made a phone book of all your users, more personal information, and made it accessible to the world. That's essentially what the guy's saying. And that's the one. I mean, and Bouzy's response is that he's racist.
Yeah. It's insane. And you know his rectification, his whole solution to this? Freaking town hall. Further discuss this incident, address your concerns. We invite you to a special pod session today at 1 p.m. EST.
On Spoutible?
On Spoutible, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your questions,
I'm sure, yeah.
thoughts, and support are invaluable as we navigate this challenge together. No, do you know what? Screw you, Christopher Bouzy. You absolute dipshiz. You are not trustworthy with any freaking data whatsoever. Even a freaking 50 gigabyte empty freaking iPhone you won't be bloody well trusted with, as far as I'm concerned. You should be absolutely just thrown over the coals on this one, because this data breach is absolutely insane. And for him to try and rectify it, being like, let's have a town hall. Yeah, let's fix it that way.
It's nothing. Don't worry, I got you guys.
Shiz.
Yeah, no.
It's not. And we all know what an absolute, as far as I'm concerned, con artist this mofo is, as far as I'm concerned. Because any questions the Spoutible users have got, he's just going to dance around it anyway and not answer it. He's not going to provide any solutions, because he hasn't with this official statement that's supposedly supposed to address the whole thing, and it hasn't. If there was a data breach in the UK, then part of what should be happening is that company is supposed to pay for a service that the users affected can then use in order to rectify A, the data leak, and B, secure their information that was leaked. This is exactly, as far as I'm concerned, what Christopher Bouzy should be doing. But hey, you know, when you spend freaking nearly just under $90 for freaking, you know, code for the next Twitter, then that's all you freaking need to know when it comes to this absolute clown of a bozo. Oh,
Yeah,
he infuriates me. He really does at this point.
That's how you really feel, Steph.
No,
Go
well,
do
generally
one.
with this type of what Steph is talking about is that with this type of data breach, generally what you'll see is they'll say, we'll give you 2 months of, IP address protector or something like that.
Yeah.
So just in case, even though we don't know if somebody got your information, just in case they did, we'll make sure that, it'll be monitored for 2 months on us, and then it's on you after that, something like that. But obviously, I don't know if he has the money to do something like that, but right now he's got 200,000 people whose information has been just out in the wind, and his security is like a fart in the wind. His security is trust me, we'll take care of it.
Just trust me. Kyle, member of 19 months, thank you. There needs to be a safeguard to Industry Online Bouzy, or anyone with that level of access should be accountable and transparent by law. You'd think. Michelle Palladino, I mean, there is in the UK, I know. It's way tougher out there. Michelle Palladino, up, loving the show. Love Nate. Great show. Sending all you tons of love and appreciation. Thank you. 19 months at the next level. Michelle, you rock. Appreciate you so much. Both you guys, Michelle and Kyle, you've been long-term members. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Steph, I mean, I love a good Bouzy bust. And this was a good one. And I got to thank my man Nate here for figuring this out, keeping on it, and keeping that pressure on him, because you're still suing him and you're not giving up. You still got that chance to get him. And I hope you get there. For those just tuning in, just what is the state of that for folks who are curious?
Well, right now we had to refile our complaint, which we did. So we amended our complaint. They filed a motion to dismiss, and right now we have a new judge who's looking over it. So hopefully we'll have a ruling within, we're hoping, the next couple of months or something like that. But the New Jersey courts run slow, and then we'll see what happens after that. But right now we're kind of in a wait and see. So we will see. But if whatever happens, you guys will definitely be the first to know.
Wait, why is that Cardi B up there? What is this?
Well, this is just something that I just want to kind of end on for this particular part of the stream. Everyone that's watching live, we will carry on. But this I just thought was just the icing on the cake. Christopher Bouzy saying, I wish certain folks would stop pretending there isn't a safer and more feature-rich version of Twitter, because it's called Spoutible. So either you enjoy the toxicity and drama Twitter has to offer, or you just don't want to use a platform owned by a black man. Or you don't want to use a platform that's gonna screw you over and leak your freaking data to the point where it's freaking scary, dangerous, and everything else in between. I'm sorry, but this dude just is not reading the room.
White man. Oh my God. This guy, but again, because when you got no substance, that's all then you get throw racism. It's because I'm black. No, it's because you're a dummy, because you're an idiot. It's because you do stupid things. And it's obvious. It's obvious that Amber Heard paid you to go after people like with Stu Smith and all these other people. It's obvious that, Meghan Markle paid you to do all that stuff, right? Because you said that. You told us she paid you. And now you're trying to pretend that you're some, expert in cybersecurity who's letting everybody, everything this guy has done has failed. Remember, he had the escort service site. Remember, if solo, if you're single and you want to get hooked up with somebody who pays some money, go to his site. He did the radio stuff. This guy's he knows everything, but really he doesn't know anything. So again, and one thing I know some people were asking me about fundraising for the lawsuit, so I want to make it very clear. We are still fundraising, but I haven't been asking for fundraising because I've been putting my own skin in the game. Because if it's serious to you, and I think I really appreciate everybody who had my back, and we raised a whole ton of money. But I've been self-funding this lawsuit from that point on, and I'm gonna come back when this. But I wanted to make sure that again, I wanted to at least get to the point where, if this motion to dismiss goes through or we're not successful, that I can just say, okay, listen, we went as far as we can. We'll try to appeal. And then if we don't, if the law just says you can't do, then we've done everything we can. But we fought till we couldn't fight anymore. So I definitely appreciate it. And we will open up the coffers to ask for funding right now. But right now, I wanted to at least make sure that I was just as much in the game as everyone else. So I've been putting my own money in. I think I've got like $10,000 or $15,000 into this lawsuit because it's honestly, it's about.
It shows you're taking it seriously.
And a lot of people who donated to the lawsuit wasn't because it was Nate. It was because of the justice, because of all the people that he's been attacking, all the people that. So that I think was important. I think it's important to me, and I think it's important to everybody out there. But I want to thank everyone who has supported the lawsuit. I want to thank everybody, and hopefully this new judge will give us a great result. And if he does, then Bouzy's going to have some things that he's going to be going through.
Woo! I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I hope you guys have been here for it. There it is, our show. Don't go anywhere. I'm wrapping it up for us, Steph. But This is where we're making the out point for the live viewers. We got so much more with Nate. We had so much more we talked about. I'm bringing Kara and Brandon back because they got booze. And we're going to hang out for another couple more minutes. So don't go anywhere, live viewers. And Steph, make sure you go support her as well over at Steph the Alter Nerd, because look how cute that hat is. Aww. Aww, look how happy Steph looks.
I'm a fox. You can call me Miss Fox.
Miss Fox. Okay.
Fox.
Farting ginger doggy. When you fart with that hat on, you can be the farting ginger dog.
I could be farting ginger doggy then when I fart, but I'm not farting at the moment, so I'm Miss Fox.
There was an out point there. You'll find it. Make the time go now.
Well, I'll do the out point.
Somebody donated some Bouzy bucks.
Bouzy bucks! Bouzy bucks! Let me do the outro here then. For all those watching on the replay, thank you so much for joining. Make sure if you want to watch the full stream, because, oh my goodness, before this video and presumably after, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fire. Then, yes, join to be able to access the full replay of all our live streams. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. Make sure you also head over to our esteemed guest, Nate the Lawyer's channel. If you liked what was coming out of his gob, and of course you did, because my logic is undeniable, head on over, give him a friendly subscribe and watch all his videos, because he's freaking awesome, and that's basically the end of that. But yeah, here is the outro, and those viewing on the replay, some videos you may want to clickety-click. Clickety-click.